Hi, I'm Lee. I'm going to show you today how to print, cut, fold, and bind these little zines I've designed. This particular one is a 24-page zine. So these print zine pages to one sheet of paper, letter-size paper, one side. So 6 on one side, so 12 on double sides. And this is 2 pages front and back, so it's 24-page zine. And I have another mutual aid zine that's just 1 page front and back. So it's a 12-page zine, and I might do more in the future with more pages. So if it's 6 to 1 page like this, then it should be the same method. So what you want to do is print double-sided, print the even pages first, and then flip it on the long side, the same as you would normally flip a normal document to print double-sided, and then print the odd pages second. And you should get this. On one side, you'll have these faint lines, and the other side, you'll have the cover, the front and back cover on the top. So you want to have the front and back cover on the bottom, and you're going to cut the top strip first and use those faint lines as a guide to cut, either with scissors or paper cutters, either works. And you print that top one first, cut the top one first, and then cut the middle one second. And you're going to have these fall on top of each other as you cut. So same thing if you're using scissors, just do the same way. So the middle one falls on top of the top one, and then the bottom one will go on the top. And that bottom one now that's on the top, that should be the middle spread, which means that the 2-page numbers are consecutive numbers. So in this case, it's 12, 13. So if you're doing any number of pages, those 2 numbers should be consecutive numbers. That means it's the middle spread. And then the other side is the front and back cover, as you can see. So just fold it so the front cover is on the front. And then you're going to want to double check to make sure your pages are in order, just in case it printed weird or wrong or different than my printer. So make sure the pages are all in order. If they're not in order, you should be able to just change the order to put them in order. As long as you printed the front and back on the correct front and back, that the pages should be able to be in order. So you're all set now and ready to bind. All you have to do is bind it some way. Now, a normal stapler like this is probably not going to work. You're going to need to have a longer stapler. So this is a normal average kind of stapler, and it's not long enough. So you can open up a stapler and staple it like onto a hard surface. You're going to want a surface that's okay to scratch, obviously, and you're going to need to play around to make it work. It might be kind of difficult. So the other thing you can do is use a long arm stapler. If you're going to be making a lot of zines, it's a great thing to invest in. I got mine on eBay, so it wasn't too expensive. I use it a lot for zines, so you can adjust that tab thing to whatever size you're making. So 4 1/4 inch in this case for the zine, and just staple it and you're all set. And for this really short zine, I just do 1 staple in the middle, but you can do 2 if you want to. It either will work. And that's how I staple it. And so the other thing you can do if you don't have a long arm stapler is you can sew to bind it. And I just use a crewel needle, which is kind of like a little bit bigger than an embroidery needle. And any sewing needle should work as long as it's sharp. And you want to use your needle to poke the holes through all the layers. And I just use regular sewing thread held doubled up in the needle. And I just did 3 holes. So I just went through the middle to the outside, and then through the bottom hole there, through all the layers to the inside, back through the middle hole to the same hole, and then through the top hole, back to the middle, and then just tied them together in the middle there, and that's it. So it took like 2 minutes. It was super easy. If you have a needle and thread, that's a really easy way to bind a zine. Especially if it's about this many pages. It's not too hard to poke through all the pages. If you're binding a super thick zine, it might be a little bit harder, but just use a bigger needle. It works really well. It looks really nice. I like that a lot. You can also use a sewing machine. Just know that it's going to dull your needle, your sewing machine needle. So just put it on a really long stitch setting and use your machine. You can do that too. So whatever works for you.